I'm so glad to be able to share with you a little of the history of the South Bay Church of God and Noah's Ark Preschool and Extended Program. Back in the late 40s, there was a small congregation meeting here in Torrance in this area. They were affiliated with the Church of God of Anderson, Indiana. The local church was in Los Angeles at the time, so they felt comfortable meeting here in a home. They did get the vision, though, to have a church planted here. So Pastor Cliff Tierney answered that call. And without a lot of money, but just a lot of vision and faith, the church was begun. So they got free wood if they took the nails out. Bungalows came from El Camino College, and the church started in 1950. About 14 years later, there was another need in the community that was seen, and they decided that they needed a preschool for working parents. So they investigated how to do that. They went through the licensing procedures in the health department, and Noah's Ark opened its door in 1964. It was housed in the parsonage right next door to the church. The director at the time was Mary Martz, the pastor's mother-in-law. We had a capacity then for 24 children. Tuition was $22 a week, and it was a lovely school, very small. A lot of the people who were in the school, the parents, were from the community, not really from our church. About 14 years later, there was another call to expand. Parents of our preschoolers were saying that their children were out of school now. They were at the local elementary schools, and they needed after-school care. So we pursued that. We had a gymnasium at the time, and we were able to license for the extended daycare that we have today. The South Bay Church of God has always been a very active part of the community. In the past, we had pageants and parades in the community, outreach programs. The pastor even had a radio program. Today, we have visitors that go to the Lawndale Care Center. And then we have Tuve Hombre that feeds the homeless. And then we have our Noah's Ark ministry. That is where we are able to provide a Christ-centered preschool to our community. We have different preschools around, but we stand out. I believe that it is the persistence of vision that God has given this church to continue the workings and the ministry of our preschool, and that's what has sustained it. Many of our families are still from outside our church, and what has happened over the past years is that these families have become a part of our church. They are now our church family. So that is a very powerful ministry that we can offer, because then we bring in and we are able to have relationships with our community families. Noah's Ark has seen many changes over the years. In the late 60s and 70s, educators were looking closely at early childhood education. There were many new innovative ways of teaching the young child. There were new practices, new theories. Our curriculum does reflect all of the current trends in education. But number one is the ministry that we have here, and that is having a Christ-centered curriculum also that sets us apart from other schools. South Bay Church of God and Noah's Ark are active ministries in the community. They are visible, and they want to make a change in people's lives. So we're happy that we can have this venue to share so that people might be able to help, support, and sustain the ministries here at South Bay Church of God.